Let me ask you something. When you finish your stock research, do you feel smarter or do you feel safer? See, if you're not feeling safer, you're probably doing it wrong. We're gonna flip the whole process on its head. I'm gonna show you a system I call the disconfirm-first flow. It's basically a rule book designed to help you kill your own investment ideas before they have a chance to kill your portfolio.
This right here, this is the core rule. This is everything. It's a system built to protect you from the single most dangerous person in your financial life, and that person is you. See, our brains are wired to fall in love with a good story, a hot stock idea, and that's the exact thing we have to fight against. So we're gonna build our entire process around this one really powerful idea.
You know how most of us do research? It's like a treasure hunt. We get an idea, we get all excited, and then we open like a dozen tabs searching for anything and everything that proves we're right. We just keep digging and digging until we find that one shiny, bullish article that confirms our genius. But here's the thing. That's not research. That's just a hunt for validation. So why on earth are our brains wired to do this? Well, it's actually not your fault. Our brains are just built this way. We hate being wrong, right? We justify our past decisions, even the bad ones, and we put way too much value on the time we've already sunk into an idea. And it all leads to the same place. We trade too much, and we convince ourselves we're making these brilliant decisions, even when all the evidence is screaming otherwise. The fix isn't finding more information, it's having better rules.
Okay, so let's build our first line of defense. It's called the 15-minute red team. Before you even let yourself read one more bullish article, before you watch one more hype video on YouTube, you must run this timed sprint. And your only mission? Find every possible flaw in your own idea. That's right, you literally start a timer for exactly 15 minutes. That clock, it creates urgency. It forces you to focus on just one thing. What could go wrong here? No distractions, no checking the stock price, just a focused mission to tear your own idea apart.
And during these 15 minutes, you are only allowed to search for negative stuff. That's it. As you can see, you're actively hunting for the bear case. You're looking for customer complaints, you're digging into the official risks the company lists in its 10K filing, and you're trying to find out why short sellers, the people betting against the stock, think it's going to go down. Your job is to find the holes. So the goal is really simple. You want to find a dent. And a dent is any material negative fact. We're talking about things like rising customer churn or shrinking profit margins, a new regulatory risk, or maybe heavy insider selling, where the company's own execs are dumping their shares. You are looking for a significant crack in the story.
And listen, this is the most important part. If you find a real, honest-to-God dent in those 15 minutes, you pause, you stop. You don't explain it away, you don't go looking for some positive news to make yourself feel better. You simply stop, you move the idea to a watch list, and the sprint is over. Done.
Okay, so what happens if an idea actually survives the red team? Then we move on to our next tool. Look, your feelings and your memories about a stock, they're totally unreliable. But a written log of evidence? That's not. This tool forces you to act like a lawyer, preparing for both sides of a case, creating a paper trail so your future self can see exactly what you were thinking. We're gonna frame this like a courtroom battle inside your research notes. In one column, you've got the defense, that's all the evidence supporting the investment, and in the other, you've got the prosecutor, all the evidence trying to tear it down. This super simple structure forces you to weigh both sides equally, not just the side you're secretly hoping will win. So here's how it actually works. For some made-up company, let's call it PTCH, we log every single piece of evidence we find. And we're not just listing claims, we're citing the source, and this is critical, we're assigning a severity. Is this claim kind of minor, or is it material? A material claim is something so big it could actually change your mind about buying the stock. And here's a simple little rule to protect yourself from all the corporate PR and hype out there. Any major claim that supports your investment thesis has to be backed up by 2 independent sources. If you can't find a second source for it, that claim stays marked unverified in your log. It's a really powerful check against wishful thinking. Your biggest risk after doing all this work is that you'll talk yourself back into a bad idea when you start to feel that FOMO kicking in. So we install objective tripwires. Think of these like predefined, non-negotiable rules that fire automatically and take emotion completely out of the decision. Okay, these are the tripwires. Let's walk through them. First, if your evidence log ever hits 3 material negative points, the idea is dead for 30 days. No ifs, ands, or buts. Second, If your whole thesis requires more than 2 heroic assumptions, and by that I mean these huge best-case scenario things that have to go perfectly, it's a no-buy. And third, and this is a big one, if your only real reason for wanting to buy is because the price is going up, that's an automatic pass.
So let's jump back to our PTCH case study. Remember that log? We found that one-time margin boost, the high sales team turnover, and a confirmed rise in customer churn. Well, guess what? That's 1, 2, 3 material negatives. Boom. Just like that, tripwire number 1 is triggered. The system, not our emotions, makes the call. PTCH goes on the watch list for 30 days. End of story.
So, what happens if an idea actually survives this whole gauntlet? It passes the red team sprint, the evidence log looks pretty balanced, and no tripwires get hit. So, do you go all in? No way. Absolutely not. What it has earned is the right to enter your portfolio, but only through a tiny, super disciplined gate that we call a tilt. A tilt is just a small pre-committed bet. You're starting with a position size of just 1 to 2% of your total portfolio. This is so crucial. It gives you some skin in the game, forces you to follow the story closely, but it prevents you from taking a huge, catastrophic loss if your initial idea turns out to be dead wrong. And there are very strict rules for managing it. You cap the size. You can even automate it with recurring buys to build the position slowly. And critically, you freeze any new additions until after the next earnings report comes out. No adding more just because you got excited. The thesis has to earn a bigger allocation over time, with real results. So how do you know if you're actually following the process, or if you're just fooling yourself again? You need a metric. We call it your disconfirm share, and it's super simple. It's just the number of negative items in your log divided by the total number of items. That's it. And here's your target. You should be aiming for at least 30% of your research log to be filled with disconfirming negative evidence. If you look at your logs after a month and that number is down below 20%, that's a huge warning sign. It means you are very, very likely still operating with that old confirmation bias, and your filter just isn't working hard enough. All right, let's make this real. Here are 3 incredibly simple things you can do today, like right now, to start using this system. First, create a bookmarks folder in your browser called Bare Tabs with those negative searches ready to go. Second, build that 2-column evidence log template in a spreadsheet or a doc. And third, put a recurring event in your calendar to remind yourself to run a red team sprint before you even think about making a new trade. And that really brings us to the final point. This whole system, it's about building the discipline to kill your own darlings, to kill your own ideas. It's a numbers game. So here's my challenge to you, and I want you to answer it down in the comments. Will you commit to killing 3 of your own ideas with this process before you make your next buy? Let me know. It's a simple yes or no. Hey, if you found this rulebook useful, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We share practical systems and checklists just like this one every single week, all designed to make you a sharper and, more importantly, a safer decision maker. Thanks for watching.